Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Destiny, and today's video is going to be really quick and about how to apply blush for certain face shapes and what brushes to use, which brushes are best for blush and why. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in. Okay, so I'm just going to start with a few of my favorite blush brushes, and the first two are actually from Sonia Kashuk, available at Target, and I have these two right here. Now this one I know is actually designated for face powder, however I really like it for blush. I like the way it's tapered along the sides, and it can pick up the product really easily and apply it to your face without being too much of a round, domed, completely round out brush, and everything's just gonna be deposited on your face really harshly. I kind of like how this is tapered along the sides, how it comes through short and then long on the top, and you can apply it to your face very nicely and get yourself a nice even distribution of blush. So I like this one a lot. This is also from Sonia Kashuk, and I like this. This is a great blush and contour brush just due to the tapering and the shape of it. It applies blush very nicely, very nice to pick up a little bit of blush and build very gradually as you go along. The next brush I actually purchased from Duane Reade, New York, and this is a Look New York brush, and this is actually a brush blush, and it's a really good blush brush. And again, like with all the other brushes, I love the tapering. When I go like this, you can see how it starts from short to long, and it will pick the product up in a way that's not having everything just sitting in one spot and then deposit it on your face and you have way too much blush. And it's very nice also to do contouring with, right, for that very same reason. And this is the last brush, and I actually got this from a little mini wholesale makeup store. They had a lot of these and I bought a few, gave some away to friends, and this is very good for the same reasons. I love it because it's small, so you can work in areas and do highlighting, and then when you press it out a little bit it becomes a little fuller and you can apply actually more blush. I think the most common mistake that people make when applying blush is that they don't take their face shape into consideration. They just smile, apply blush to their apples of their cheeks, and then they kind of wonder why they really don't like the way their makeup looks. You definitely have to take your face shape into consideration. You also have to take into consideration the texture of the blush, the finish, and the color. I'm just going to go ahead and talk really quickly about face shape, and then a little bit about shimmery blushes versus matte blushes, cream blushes, and kind of like cheek stains and stuff like that. So first I'm going to start off with the oval shaped face. I have somewhat of a round oval shaped face. It's an oval shape, but I do have a rounder, I guess, appearance on the bottom, but I'm just going to go ahead and lean toward an oval shaped face for myself. If you have an oval shaped face, then these tips will apply to you. So you see here I have a little bit of blush on my brush, and the blush I'm going to be using today is La Femme blush, and this one is in Cinnabar. So basically with an oval face shape, you're going to kind of want to swoop your blush upward toward the temples, and this is going to help to just really accentuate the shape of your face, help your cheekbones to pop a little bit more, and bring a lot of interest to the center of your face. Okay, so basically I'm just going to start with my little brush. And I have a little bit of blush here. You're going to start very lightly, and yeah, just build. You don't have to have that perfect amount of blush the first time. You're just going to start and you're going to build. And another trick I like to do is kind of just start on the outsides of my cheeks and brush it upward, not too far upward, and not in the middle of your face. You're not going to just apply it to the middle of your face unless that's the kind of look you like, but I'm going to tell you that's probably not the most flattering look for your face. So when you start low like this and build it up, it also helps to give your face somewhat of a contoured look without using such a dark color. It's just going to look more natural, seeing as how most of you may not blush the color that you're using. It starts nice if you kind of start down here, depositing the most color, fanning it and building it upward towards your temples. If it's a really dramatic color and you don't feel comfortable having it near your temples, you don't have to, but definitely start down lower on your cheekbone and build it up and kind of shape it around your cheek, and it will give your face a very pretty, very shapely, sculpted look. I'm going to finish applying my blush, and what you can also do is start around your cheek, apple of your cheek, low, not on top of the apple of your cheek, because this will flatten your face. So you're just going to bring it down and up and you can sweep it as so. I think one of the face shapes that has the hardest time wearing blush, or the hardest time figuring out where to apply blush, is definitely a rounder face. When you have a rounder face and you're applying blush, you kind of, I don't know how to put it. I don't want to say you don't want to accentuate the shape of your face, but you might want to appear a little bit less round in the face. Maybe you want to add a little bit of definition, you know, kind of help your cheekbones to stand out a little more if you do have a rounder and fleshier face, or just a rounder face shape, and you want to really access your cheekbones. What you can do, especially using a highlighting blush, something that has a blush tone to it, but also maybe has some light reflecting pigments of gold, silver, or peachy tones, you want to apply your blush straight across in a 45-degree angle. This is definitely going to help to give your face more definition, bring a little bit more of a kind of an edge to your face. So you're going to take your blush, you're going to more apply your blush to the tips of your bristles, and you're going to start and apply just going straight up. Just going straight up. If you're using a highlighting blush, then you can go ahead and apply it right on the tops of your cheekbones, but your blush is going to pretty much go almost through the area where your cheekbone would be, to kind of give the illusion of having a lifted, more sculpted appearance to your face. Another thing is you can use a bronzer, contour, highlighting type effect, where you have the little bit of a darker blush or your contour powder down lower, and then your blush and a little bit of a highlighter to really help accentuate and kind of carve out your facial features. If you have kind of a square face with a little bit more of an accentuated square off jaw, what you want to do is definitely soften your face and soften your features. So you may want to use a softer color in general, just to help soften the appearance of your face if you do have a more square jaw. And you're going to take it, and I would probably use this more fluffy brush, and get again your blush right on the tips of your bristles, and to kind of apply it starting in the middle of your eyebrow and sweeping out very lightly and kind of wide, to kind of take away some of the height of your face and some of the, you know, almost squared off features. Your forehead line and your jaw are probably going to be equal, so you want to start in the middle and blend out to kind of, like I said, soften your features a bit. It's hard to explain. I don't want to offend anyone's face shape by saying this is a bad face shape and you need to change it, but this can definitely help to soften your features a bit. A long face is very similar in blush application to a squared off face, because you want to soften the appearance of maybe having a longer face and maybe shorten it, make it a little bit wider, a little bit more softer. Sometimes longer faces tend to look a little dragged down, so you kind of want to shorten your face just a little bit. And you're going to also take your blush and apply it to the tips of your bristles and start in the middle, except for you kind of want to curve a little bit, kind of to still keep the shape, and you have probably higher cheekbones if your face is a little bit longer, or at least dominant cheekbones, more dominant than a square face or a round face. So you're going to apply it in the middle and kind of curve a little bit, but you're going to still stick right in the apple of your cheek. Okay, so I think definitely when dealing with a matte blush, you want to beware of overloading the matte blush, because it can make your face look harsh or smushed in depending on what your face shape and how you applied it. I definitely love to apply matte blushes toward the outside of my face, because it does help to slim any face shape. And if your face shape doesn't need any slimming, like you have maybe an oval shaped face, or if you have a long face shape, you can take the matte blush and apply it toward the center of your face. Most other face shapes, I would kind of stick to trying to use a matte blush almost as a contouring effect, as a slimming, shaping, or sculpting effect. And then with shimmery blushes, I almost always like to keep them on the top of my cheekbones, because it's slimming, it's shaping, it's sculpting. And when you apply shimmer in the center of your face, it's going to make it bulge, make your face look fuller. Every now and again I apply my makeup and I say, gee, I think this makeup kind of added about 3 pounds to my face a little bit. So that's something that I like to keep in mind when using a shimmery blush. When using lipsticks as blushes, or cream blushes, or lip stains, I almost always like to use my fingers. Same techniques as aforementioned. I like to use my fingers or a wet sponge, and this can give a much more natural flush. When it comes to cheek stains, they're almost more forgivable on anybody in the center of the face, because the texture is not very apparent. so it almost looks really, really naturally. And if you were to blush, you know, regardless to what face shape you had, you would definitely have some color in this area, because this is where your cheeks are, except for when you're dealing with makeup and you can kind of control where you want things. It would be more flattering to use the techniques that I mentioned before. Some ways to prevent your blush from fading is definitely you can use a cream blush, a lipstick, or something similar to the blush color you want to use, and use it as a color base. You're going to go moisturizer, your primer, your foundation, then your cream blush. You're going to set everything with, you know, your translucent powder, and then set your cream blush, your lipstick, or your stain with a light wash of the color that you're using, similar to the way you would set your foundation so it doesn't rub off. One final tip is definitely give cream blush a try. If you don't have any, start out with lipstick. Cream blushes look a little bit more flattering, they look more natural, and if you are a little bit more of a mature woman, then it can definitely look a little bit better on your skin and take even a few years away, because it looks more natural and it still has a dewiness to it, a glow, and lets your natural skin texture shine through. Alright guys, so as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. I hope you guys learned something. If you have any comments or questions, definitely leave them in the bottom bar. As always, I'll be in touch, and hopefully you'll do the same. Bye.